Well, good evening, and thank you everybody for attending this evening. This is our branch communication 5-star requirements workshop.
On using social media to promote AAUW.
Yes,
We're not doing this just because it meets a requirement. It should help your branch become visible in the community where you live and communities online.
yes. I say just the same as everybody in the branch should be looking out for new members. Everybody in the branch should be looking out to advertise your branch through social media. And I hope all of you have looked at the 5-star requirements. In the communication requirements, it says you must complete 3 of the points. Hopefully, you'll look to try and complete all of the points. Well, the first requirement is that the branch has a designated communications point person that follows AAUW National on the platforms where it operates social media accounts. I don't know if you know where those accounts are, but I've asked Elaine to show you. The easiest way is to go to the national website. And here she's pointing out how to find them through the social media symbols: Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram,
Well,
YouTube,
Twitter, we're not recommending.
Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn. It doesn't mean that the branch has to have accounts on all these. Personally, I just recommend that the branch has an account on Facebook. That's the most important place to have an account.
And we'll talk about that later as to the number of users on each platform.
On Twitter, it's become very unpopular in recent months. And in fact, AUW National has actually stopped posting. Elaine says that Blue Sky has become quite popular, particularly with non-profits. And I noticed that AUW has set up an account there on Blue Sky, but they haven't really started posting yet, so I wouldn't worry too much about Blue Sky.
But we want to emphasize many things on Twitter are disinformation or hate speech. There's no moderation. It's very toxic. And a lot of news agencies have moved to Blue Sky, newsmakers. Not everybody, but several.
On Instagram, AUW National does post, and there are a few branches that have Instagram accounts. I know that AUW Naperville has an Instagram account. I wouldn't say that every branch has to have their own Instagram account, but if you have your own personal account, I think that's enough. If you're the designated communication person, that's what I mean. I mean, I have an Instagram account, but I don't honestly post much on it, but I follow other accounts. AUW does post their videos on YouTube. So, for example, if you miss one of their webinars, you might find the recording on YouTube. The Jane Addams branch has a YouTube page, for example. So when you miss our recordings, you might find them on YouTube. Our recordings are linked to our website. So though they're actually hosted on YouTube, you'll find the links to our website. And LinkedIn, AUW has a company page on LinkedIn. I don't particularly recommend that you have a branch company page on LinkedIn. And I don't think you really have to join AUW groups on LinkedIn because they're not actually official national groups. But if you have a personal LinkedIn profile, that's quite useful. I've had one for many years. Even if you're retired, that's good. You don't even have to say you're retired on LinkedIn. You can gloss over that. Have we covered all those social media accounts now? I think we have.
I think so.
Yes. Okay. Now, next, it says share 3 to 5 posts aligned with AUW's mission per quarter. Now, a quarter is 3 months, and if you only have to share 3 to 5 posts, that's not very demanding, is it? And to make it easier, it says they can even be shared from AUW national accounts. And we put in or AUW Illinois. So you don't even have to compose your own posts. That's making it really easy. We'd like you to learn to compose your own posts, but still. Later on,
And
Elaine's going to show you how to
one
share.
addition, if you have an event or something with people in photos, you want to share those photos and make a post about your local event. Those are very popular and they get a lot of traffic on your Facebook page, especially if you have a book sale. If you look at Naperville's Facebook, we just went through our book drives and book sales. And when you do an event like that and post every 2 or 3 days with something new, you get thousands of people viewing your Facebook page. So take advantage when you have an event, post a lot more often, if you can.
Right, next, AUW National recommends that you include information from AUW National in your branch newsletters at least quarterly. You can pull from Mission and Action and Washington Update emails and so on. Well, that would help your branch members keep up to date. And do you offer your branch newsletters to non-members? Some branches have a mailing list that includes non-members. They advertise them on their branch websites. And remember, you should have links to your social media sites on your branch website and vice versa. So, for example, your Facebook page should have a link to your branch website, and your branch website should have a link to your Facebook page or any other social media accounts that you have. And you should check that they actually work accurately. Right, it says include information about equal pay days in branch communications, including your social media. And this is the list here that was posted by AAUW on their website. So what have we just had? We had LGBTQIA plus Equal Pay Awareness Day on June the 17th. And coming up in July is Black Women's Equal Pay Day. Now, every year, AUW posts on their website, auw.org, an equal pay calendar, and they've been doing it for some years now. I don't expect they're going to stop. So even though they've taken this requirement off for the 5-star requirements for next year, Elaine and I don't think you should stop posting about it because it's
After all,
yes,
that's what we're about, equity for women.
yes, equal pay is still mission related. So I think you should still have this on your calendar, your posting calendar next year. And AUW is very particular about gathering these equal pay days every year and putting them on their equal pay calendar. Because I don't know if you're aware that these dates actually shift a little bit every year. They're not the same days every year. Okay, well, next it says, ensure all branch leaders subscribe to AUW emails and share the email resubscribe link with members quarterly in member communications. No, you don't have to be a so-called branch leader to subscribe to AUW emails. Any branch member can subscribe to AUW emails. And that email resubscribe link
Oops.
is actually a very long URL. It goes all the way across the screen. So we recommend that you actually use that sort of link. Look how long that link is when Elaine clicks on it. Click on it again, Elaine. It's the link in her little rectangle that shows up is really, really long. So
Here you can see
yes.
it goes beyond the space.
Yes, it goes beyond the space. It's really, really long. So if you don't think that you've been getting mission and action and Washington update emails and so on, you can use that link to make sure that you're getting up-to-date emails. Because it may be several years since you joined AUW, and maybe you've changed your email address, or maybe you have several email addresses. You don't know that. Maybe the information that they've got at AUW National is out of date. So another thing to do for the social media chairperson, oh, and backup persons, we want to stress that it isn't just one person to do all these jobs. Social media is actually a team thing, particularly like posting on Facebook. It's a team job, and there should be more than one person to be admin. Because if you only have one admin on Facebook, and if that person like leaves town or leaves the branch,
You're
and
going to
doesn't,
be in trouble.
yes, if you don't have a full admin on Facebook, you might lose access to your Facebook page. Facebook will not help you.
Right.
I can't help you. Elaine can't help you if you lose your full admin person. You need more than one full admin, preferably 2 or 3.
And you might need a person to make it easier. If you have a book sale or a big fundraising event, have that person on your team so they can post their own photos and posts. And you might need, for public policy posts, you might have a separate person that's working focused on that. And rather than sending the post to you and then you have to post it, you have to meet 2 people's schedules to get it online. Just make that person part of your team so they can post their own news about public policy. And nowadays, there's 2 or 3 every day.
Yes, it's much easier. If somebody asks you to post something for them, you say, oh, it's much easier if you do it for yourself, and make them an admin too. That's what I recommend. That's what I do.
Or
It's
you may have a lower level of authority. They can post, but they're not an admin. An admin can also delete your page. So you do want to be sure that everybody on your team is pretty comfortable online and knows, to watch what they're doing.
Okay. So the social media person has to follow all these accounts. And it's much easier if they have accounts of their own. And if you have any
So
questions,
do we.
if you have any questions about that, you can put it in the chat or ask us at the end of the program.
So now we're going to show you the different accounts on each of the social media platforms. AAUW National on Facebook. This is their page. And on Facebook, their handle is, or their name is AAUW.national. And if we scroll down just a little, we've got a post about reproductive freedom, Title IX, Students, Parents, Succeed Act. So there's a lot of opportunities for things you want to share. Then we have Instagram. AAUW National is all run together. That is the handle at Instagram. YouTube. Well, let's go back here. I wanted to point out how many people are following. We have 15.9 thousand followers for AAUW National on Instagram.
And look, there's a post, a link to Linktree. We could mention Linktree. I like Linktree there. Can you see that? You may not have heard of Linktree before, but it's a website where you can consolidate all your main social media accounts and put links to actions that you're focusing on at the moment. Look, it says, ask the House to help student parents succeed. Join our action network. So you can see what AUW National is interested in at the current time.
And they also have some of the letters related to things that are happening policy-wise. So let's go to YouTube. On YouTube, we have 1.76 thousand subscribers. So we have over 1 million subscribers. And they have 555 videos. This is a valuable resource. Strategic plan, building a stronger AAUW, defending higher education, the history, fellowships, table talks, conversations, and Our Voice, Our Future, AAUW's public policy. That's a recent one that was, I think, May 20th. So these are valuable pages to go to, and you may want to share some of these things as a post on your own page. Then LinkedIn. We have 15,000 followers, and LinkedIn is an area where most of the people on here probably have college degrees. It's a good place to post something intriguing and have a link to your website to encourage prospective members to come and check out your webpage or a Facebook post. So now let's go back to our. Hopefully you as an individual have now followed all of those national social media accounts, or you have a short list of maybe signing up on Instagram or making a LinkedIn account. And as the requirements said, you're to post 3 to 5 times per quarter. So that's 1 or 2 times a month.
But you can always post more often.
Right.
Yes. And we said, prefer that you have a small team.
And Kate and I differ a bit on who can post. I'm pretty protective and I don't allow anyone to post because I don't want to have to monitor every hour of the day what's going up on my page without my knowledge. Kate's a little more open-minded and maybe she's more tuned in on her netbook everywhere she goes. I'm not. So I restrict people who can post, and the only people who can post are people who are on the team, the social media team from our branch.
Well,
But you
I'd
do need
encourage
you do need a team.
I'd encourage people to post, but in practice, don't find that people do post even when they have, even when they're allowed.
But even if you have a bad actor who's having a bad day and they're angry about women's groups and they stumble on your page, they could put up something really nasty about women, and I don't want to be the victim.
That hardly ever happens. Okay. Elaine has actually posted a posting calendar on the Jane Addams Branch website as a download. You could find it on our homepage.
Do you want to see it?
Well, you can't actually read it unless you download it, can you? Oh, there it is. But you
Now,
can make
these are
your own.
just suggestions.
Yes. You can make up your own posting calendar with dates that you think are important.
And remember, every year the equal pay days change. But things like in March, International Women's Day on March 8th is always there. And let's see, August, National Women's Equality Day, August 26th. Voter Registration Day, September. That may change every year. But you have some awareness months that you might want to look at. And there are things on here like outstanding historical women that you might want to make a post, like Margaret Sanger could be related to reproductive freedom. Margaret Mead's birthday, she was an activist for sure, and you can relate that to some of our advocacy issues. Ban Book Week is always at the end of September. Sexual Assault Awareness Month. April. Ruth Bader Ginsburg's birthday is in March. Susan B. Anthony and Rosa Parks' birthday are in February. African American History Month is also February. And the Lilly Ledbetter Act, January. Of course, she's definitely linked to AAUW. Her legal case was supported in part by AAUW funds. So now back to our agenda.
Right. Encourage sign-ups for 2-Minute Activist at branch events and on social media. I'm sure there's some people still haven't signed up for 2-Minute Activist. And I made a document with some images, some graphics that you could use to make your own posts.
Just use the link in the document.
You'll find the document with the graphics on. If you're not very good at making your own graphics, like me, I do search the internet for graphics. I look for graphics which don't have specific years, dates on, or the logos for other organizations. And hopefully are copyright free. You should watch out that you don't use copyright materials.
Okay. Now, social media, as you know, has a variety of platforms that we've already talked about. I'm going to show you quickly. This is a graph of US adults, how many use the various platforms. And you can see YouTube is very, very popular. Facebook is number 2, so that's why we are focused on Facebook. And Facebook has a lot of the age groups that are in our membership. Instagram is the next highest. So you can see LinkedIn is a ways down, but we mentioned earlier those folks on LinkedIn are professional and probably have college degrees, and it is a good place to be visible so that people know we exist, and put a link to your website or your Facebook page so that they can explore how to become members. So now we're going to jump to how to post. Let's see. One of the easy things to do, as we talked about earlier, is to share a post from National. And we have the reproductive freedom post here, which would be a great one to share. And also the Title IX post. I like the Title IX post because it's sort of a series of photographs and information, and it encourages people to click on your information and to stay with you more than 3 seconds. So you get a lot of information out of this one post. When you are posting, you want to be sure that your content is authentic, not disinformation, not biased, and obviously AAUW National is not going to be biased. So in order to share this, you just I would go to my individual, trying to get, I usually post from my own Facebook page, and then I share it to the Facebook page for the branch. So I just go to the search and look for AAUW National. And I'm going to go down to the Title IX post and share. Now I can say something introductory, but I'm not going to do that tonight. But you might want to highlight one of the main misconceptions is, and it's mentioned in the post, Title IX is not just about sports. Now, I don't want to click share now because then it will appear on my Facebook page. I want to go down here and share to the page. Now, because I'm on the team for two different branches, I'm going to choose Northwest Suburban. It says, do you want to switch? I'm going to say, okay. And then here I have another opportunity. I think I'll put in Title IX is more than sports. So then I click on next, and it's just asking me to review who can see your post. And I already have it set to public because you want it to go out to the public. Just like if you're advertising one of your branch programs, you definitely want it to go to the public. That's why one of the reasons we're on Facebook is to attract the attention of new people. They come to a program, they like it, they meet friendly people, and they become a member. So we said yes to public, and now we're going to click done. For
No,
some reason,
you
for
don't
some
click share.
reason it didn't like it. But down here it says it's shared to the feed. Do you want to view it?
You remember what we said, Elaine? You'll end up posting twice if you do that.
Right. So you just ignore this repeat thing, and we're going to go to leave.
There's something strange going on with this posting thing. You'll end up posting twice if you follow through with what Facebook tells you to do.
But when we go to the Northwest Suburban page,
It should be there. There you go.
it is there. If you see that notice that it has been submitted to your page down in the lower corner, and do you want to view your post? It's gone there. Don't do it again. But if that happens, you can go to your post and see these little dots. You can remove your post, move it to the trash so that you don't have two copies of the same thing. That makes it look like you don't know what you're doing. And we don't want that.
We've all done it. Don't worry.
Right. But we don't want to be public about it. All right. So what's next, Kate? I've got too many things open here. We're going to, well, let me,
Well, we can scroll down our notes. We could either do another post or we could carry on talking about what else is at the bottom of the page. Goodness. At the
I'm
end of
going
this,
to,
yes, at the end of this meeting, we will share our notes, these notes with you. And we will go through the questions in the chat. I haven't looked at them yet.
all right. Now I'm going to go back to Facebook to show you some of these varieties of things to post.
Further on down the notes page, I put a link to the AUW logos and the AUW color palette. And I also made a note about how to join our new Google group for social media communications, which we started since the spring state convention.
So are you still seeing my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Here's a post that came from, that I shared from Equal Pay Day Chicago Coalition. As a branch, you want to identify people or organizations that you want to follow, and they will have perhaps similar interests, like we are part of the Women Employed Coalition in Illinois, and they generally are working on equal pay, and we just worked on salary transparency. So you want to look for groups that have similar advocacy issues, and they may have a post that you'll want to share. Like the Equal Pay Day Chicago Coalition sponsored the screening of Lily Ledbetter's movie in Chicago this past Tuesday.
And AUW Illinois actually was a co-sponsor for that event.
Co-sponsor,
Yes.
right. And here's Kate shared some of the things related to the last Equal Pay Day. This is a book discussion. This is from National about the big ugly bill. And we have this one from the National Women's History Museum about women's health care and how it impacts the family, quality of life, the economy, productivity, lost wages. So, you know, the current attack on women, I like the note at the bottom. She is not a footnote. So National Women's History Museum has a lot of good things that you might want to share. And on the right, you see a lot of information. You want to be the provider of information that people will appreciate, so that at least the first step is getting them to follow your page. And then after a while, then they may attend an event and then they become a member. So what is due process is from the League of Women Voters of Ohio. Karina's Law. This is in Illinois. Protection of women who've been abused domestically. The Moms Equal Pay Day, we had kind of a social media storm Kate launched to try and get a variety of people to post things on that same day. A Mighty Girl is another good source focused on building confidence among girls, and they were focused on World Press Freedom Day. Let's go back. Oh, no. League of Women Voters obviously is a nonpartisan source. You want to look for nonpartisan sources of information. And this is a post related to Gloria's keynote address at Springfield State Convention, kind of like a news report. You might do that for any event, whether you sponsor it or attend it. This consequences are devastating of the big budget bill. It's from National. This one from A Mighty Girl. This one, Women's Marches Around the World, is a post related to the SAVE Act and what it would cost if women had to prove their birth as a citizen and their names no longer match their birth certificate. This is from National. And this is from the League of Women Voters of the U.S. This is the Freedom to Read Coalition. The Female Lead is another good source. And regarding voting, the Illinois State Board of Elections has a lot of good graphics and good information. They had posts that address myths about voter fraud. So that was definitely something we wanted to highlight prior to voting in November. So that gives you some examples of all the variety of places that you can share information from. So posting 5 times a quarter is not a big hurdle. You should be able to do that. And the more you can post, the more visible. Remember when we submit articles, we used to submit articles in the newspaper? Well, think of it that way. You want to be noticed a couple times a month at least. Okay, back to our list. Sharing a post to drive traffic to your web page. I'll show you an example of that. And remember, you can use hashtags. By using hashtags like women's rights, equity, ERA, Equal Pay Day, the International Women's Day, those people use to search for posts they might be interested in. So if they didn't have any idea, they could put in equity and our posts would show up if we have used equity in our Facebook posts. So it makes it an easy way for them to search. They don't have to know who posted it. They're just interested in women's rights or equity or the ERA. And they just put in the hashtag and they get a whole bunch of notifications, and your branch wants to be one of them. So now let's quickly go back. when you want to share a post or an event, well, first I'll show you this. Well, let's go back. You notice on this, my introductory remarks is about AAUW advocates for comprehensive health care for women and girls. Join AAUW. And then I have the link to our branch website right there. I also have hashtags. So this is something you want to do, to use Facebook to drive people to look at your web page. Your web page should be easy to read and show links for membership so that they can, easily find the variety of information, which is more detailed than you can put on Facebook. So, and I had another post that I usually do in January, thinking about New Year's resolutions. Why not join an organization that helps you achieve economic security like AAUW? Because people are usually concerned about money in January, or they might be making resolutions. So there's a variety of links, but I usually create a post related to that with a link to our website. But I'm sure you can think of a variety of opportunities to do that. Now let's go look at an event. This is book discussion. It's already happened. Let's see. Say the outdoor tree show. We'll use this as an example, and you click on the arrow to share. Now I would do this as an individual. Let me change, because you don't want to do it as a branch page, because that would imply that you endorse that agency or event. You want to do it as an individual. And I've already signed, you don't sign up your branch to be a member of what's happening in Naperville or there's a group in Mount Prospect, We the People. You don't want to have your branch be a member. You want individuals to become members of those community groups online. So I've joined a variety of groups online. And then when I choose an event and I go to share it, it's going to be under my name, but I'm going to not share it just as me. I'm going to click on group. Now, of course, it's not working tonight. That's crazy. Well, let's pretend we're going to hip hop, see if this works. Group. Okay. So when I click on group, I have a list. There's We the People from Mount Prospect. There's What's Happening in Skokie and the North Shore. Action Ridge, Des Plaines, Moms Building Bridges, Indivisible Naperville, Naperville Ladies, Park Ridge Area Moms Demand Action. You want to link up, here's Park Ridge Professional Moms. You want to look for groups that have a lot of women or are your community area that your branch serves, what's happening in Bolingbrook, Elgin. And then if I put in women, I've got Women for Democracy, Women's March Chicago, Notorious Nasty Women, Illinois Women Forward. There's one, I think, called ERA Illinois. So you want to join those groups that you think are connected to us in some of the issues that we work on. And people in those groups might be interested, whether it's your community is the connection, or whether it's an issue, or whether it's a group of women. You want to be join those groups and see what kinds of things are posted. Some community groups are just kind of like advertising pages of what's happening on the weekend. You might not want to waste time on that. But if there are things that are more community related, you have to see what things are posted there to tell whether your posts would be of interest to the group. So anyway, you would pick a group and then, let's say Women's March Chicago. And then you can write this like, this is coming up this week, or it's not too late to sign up for this program. And then you're going to click post. And generally there'll be an admin in the group that has to approve your post. So if you're promoting an event that is date specific, like when we did our book drives in Naperville, you want to do it a day or two early so that it gets approved and then it gets posted in that community group. So that's how you share an event. And because of that, if we share with 4 or 5 groups, we get thousands of views for the book sale. And the month of the book sale, we got 28 new followers for the Naperville webpage. So those are prospective members or prospective customers for the book sale. So that ends the demonstration. So Kate, what kind of questions do we have?
I thought you'd never ask. Well, it's 8 o'clock, so we need to speed through these
Right.
questions.
We
Someone,
recorded everything, which will include, what we're viewing. So there weren't any slides for this presentation,
yeah, there weren't
but
really any slides.
everything will be included.
I, I think that if you go to the Jane Addams branch website, there are downloads that you can make. And
Right. The documents there are from the convention, and we'll post. It's
yeah,
basically similar
yeah.
to what.
Laura Selkin corrects you. It's 1.7 thousand, not million. You said million somewhere, and
Oh,
I
right.
was thinking that sounded like an awful lot.
I did too, but I thought they had a K after it, which means 1,000.
Elizabeth says, can links to Linktree found through the national site be copied and pasted to a local site? Now, the Linktree is on the Linktree site. It's not on the national site. I'm sure they can be copied and pasted. Well, once you have to click through the links on Linktree and they'll take you to another place. Each of them to take you to another place.
But a branch could create their own link tree and include several of those from national, right?
Yes, I think a branch could make their own link tree if they wish.
There's no charge to have one.
I don't believe so. I haven't thought of having one's own branch link tree. That's probably a good idea. Now, Becky asks if all these groups that you post to, she says these are all groups that are on Facebook, not just ones you personally have a connection with on Facebook. That's the same thing, isn't it, Elaine?
Right,
You've
right.
chosen them because you
They're
feel that
all they're all on Facebook.
I think Elaine's chosen them because she feels they have an affinity with AAUW. You know, that they consist of women who are mainly women who
Right.
have the same interests at heart. They have the same sort of mission in mind.
For example, if it's a local program, I would only post to local groups. But when I was posting about the SAVE Act, which had the potential to disenfranchise most women, I posted it to the Women's March, the Nasty Women, the Women's March Chicago, the Women's March Naperville. I went everywhere. But normally you would not post it, share it to every group that I'm a member of.
Laura says, where is your list of monthly events on your website? Um, goodness, she must be talking about Northwest Suburban.
Let's see. I don't have a tab for
Laura says, if you want a lot of
Northwest Suburban primarily has online events rather than in person. And we have our programs on the front page. So we have mainly book discussions. We're having a luncheon at a Korean restaurant. And then we had the convention, a book discussion. Women's History Month, we had an in-person program with the Des Plaines Library. So January was online. The rest of them are online. But having all your programs on the very front page is a little unorthodox, but that's kind of like the latest news. I should show you Naperville's. That's more standard. We have the mission statement at the top, a big thank you about the book sale. But on the right, you have news, dismantling IMLS impact on libraries. That's our public policy group. We had our Woman of the Year at the end of the year banquet, and then public policy again. And if you notice on the sidebar, you want to have links to join or renew. Naperville has a little place where you can shop. You all should have links to Illinois and National on your webpage. And we have a link to subscribe to our newsletter.
Okay, there's more questions, Elaine.
Okay.
Deetra says, how can I get help with navigating and adding to the website? Laura says in response, AUW National has a committee that will help you. What do you say to that, Elaine?
Well, I thought they had a person at that, what's the address? Resources?
Site resources.
Site resources. That's what I've used in the past.
I don't know how helpful they are at the moment, but you could try it. Andrea says, I have a question about how to get our branch's AUW logo to fit into the profile of our site. Is there someone who can help with graphics?
Kate, do you mean fitting in the little circle?
I presume she means the website and not, say, Facebook, when I'm not quite clear, but
Well, for the Facebook, for the website, anything in the banner heading, you would, if you want to change that from what National has installed, you would need to communicate with them, Site Resources. But if you are talking about the the other pages, adding a page, doing posts,
I
those
think I'm
are,
off mute. Can you hear me?
yes.
yes.
Yes, my question was about the profile page on Facebook, the circle. Just looking for somebody to help get that condensed. If there's a
Well,
graphics
well,
group.
well, the Facebook widget will help you do it. Have you tried letting Facebook do it automatically for you?
I have, and it might just be the graphic itself. I don't want to take up from this group. I just thought if there was somebody I could talk to offline. Thank you. Right, that right where you are there. I'd like to get that for the Elmhurst page.
I think Kate could help you with that.
I help people offline sometimes.
Okay, I'll reach out to you, Kate, if that's okay.
Okay.
Because National has provided specific logos for each branch.
Mhm.
So that's what I have used on Northwest Suburban, I think.
Okay,
It
thank
was
you.
a while back.
Yeah, AUW National like us to use the latest logos, and on our latest notes that we were using today, Elaine and I have actually put a link towards the end saying find AUW logos and color palette. And you can find the logos for each branch, the up-to-date ones. Like
Right,
there,
right here.
you just zoom past it. With the dark navy and orangey red colored logos.
You
Those
want
are
me
the
to go
latest
back?
ones. Yes, there, AUW Naperville. Those are the latest ones, I think, unless Naperville might have edited that slightly. Because sometimes AUW National gets shirty if we don't use the correct ones. That's the truth.
And here's the link. And we also want to mention there's a Google group for social media communicators, and anyone can join, anyone from your team. So Kate is coordinating that on the state level.
And the handouts that we have referred to, Elaine and me, are on the Jane Addams branch website. On the homepage, if you scroll down to the June 26th event.
I will put this new one up.
Yes, because
we didn't put today's up before we did it.
Yes, the social media workshop outline there is for April 26th, which was the outline for the in-person event that we did
at
in
convention.
Springfield. Yes, it's in for the state convention.
But you also will have this total reference on social media use. There's a lot of data that I didn't show you as to different age groups that are on different platforms. So you might want to take a look at that. Any other questions, Kate?
I don't think so. I might possibly have missed anyone. If I have, you can
Speak up.
speak up, or you can email auwjaneadams@gmail.com. Also, the final question is, do you want another session on social media? And if so, what would
What
you
should
like?
it
Yes, what
focus on?
topic?
Because there's so many.
So many topics. I mean, it could be about one of the channels. Um,
It could even be on Linktree, doing a Linktree.
Linktree, LinkedIn, Instagram, or even websites. We could talk about WordPress. Elaine knows more about WordPress than I do.
Well, and I need to get updated. You know, your side menus are widgets, and I don't know how much authority we have to change those. It may be that we need site resources to change the things that are on the side of your page. Those little menus are part of the widgets. And you noticed on your web page that everybody now has a link to the new strategic plan right here on the right-hand side.
And in fact, that was put down as one of the parts of one of the 5-star requirements for next year. But since they've already put it on our websites, everybody's website,
Everyone already has it.
everyone already has it. So that solves that one, doesn't it? Well, I think there's some more messages I haven't seen. Gosh, no, Laura's being very helpful here. We should ask her to help us.
Could
Yes,
someone talk about, Laura Selkin said, using the planner that enables you to plan posts in advance? What planner?
Pardon?
What planner is Laura?
You can plan an event or a post on Facebook in advance, and instead of publishing it immediately, you can schedule when you want it to be published. I think that might be what she's talking
Yeah.
about.
And it also enables you to post at Instagram and Facebook at the same time.
Oh, right.
I
right.
mean, at whatever, either immediately or in the future, but you can post to both social media pages with the same message.
Right. That is another avenue that we didn't explore. It's pretty easy to share posts that you've developed for Facebook with Instagram since they are connected. So that, is not such a challenge if you want to add Instagram. And the advantage of that is that it reaches a younger audience, maybe 30 to 40, that age range, whereas Facebook is more 40 to 70.
I do have a couple of comments about that, though. Laura, you sound like you're familiar with this. I don't know whether you can do that for individual posts or for like every post. I don't like doing it for every post. Certainly, one of the problems is that images don't fit the same for both channels.
That's why I always use Instagram size images, because those will always work in Facebook.
There you go. That's the right answer, Laura. You're so
Right.
useful.
And it used to always have to be a square. It doesn't have to be a square anymore. In fact, I think Instagram is leaning more towards 4x5 rather than a square shape, which was always a pain. But you do have options. It will tell you if the shape of this picture will not work in Instagram, and you can crop it to make it fit so you don't have to start all over. But it doesn't work. What I don't like is it doesn't work for events. So you can't like share events on that planner, but you can do posts, all kinds of posts,
Mhm.
videos, different things like that.
Good to know. Thanks. I have not ventured into Instagram.
Yeah, it's
Usu-
slow
usu-
going.
Usually when I want to suggest a good branch who's doing things well, I usually say, check up with AUW Naperville. I think they're about the best branch in
They're
Illinois.
definitely active, and it's another person that's doing that part. Like we said, we need a team. And it really is good to have that platform in addition to Facebook. But Naperville does do both.
Andrea has raised her hand.
Andrea, what's your question?
Actually, I was trying to set a reaction to Clap about the Naperville group. That's great that you made a compliment for their group.
Well, they are great. They're always up to date.
Mhm.
And to be honest, if I want to check something out, like what are the current membership fees or whatever, I always tend to assume that they will be up to date.
It's
And
great.
I can assure you, we've had many conversations with Site Resources when we wanted to set up this little store online for people to order t-shirts. And that took a lot of back and forth, and how could we get it up there and connecting, the site that sells the things to our webpage. It was a lot that we did not, as a branch, have control over. And National has different levels of users. If they think you aren't going to ruin the website, they give certain people power user status. And eventually we got to that, I think, in Naperville. But for most websites across the US, they're not giving you that kind of blanket control. And there are still many things that we do not control. You have to kind of go through the gatekeeper of Site Resources, the top banner in particular, because National wants the top banner to be using the right logo and presenting a professional brand specific type of appearance, so that we're as recognized as maybe Dunkin' Donuts. Did you find any other questions?
I don't think so. Has anybody else got anything to say? I think everyone's said anything. If they think of anything
Alrighty.
later, they can email.
Well, thank you everyone for attending. And again, Kate takes questions, and we hope everyone joins the group for communications, and we can all work together to become more visible online.
Yes.
And countering myths and disinformation is really, to me, one of the goals. If you see something that's misrepresenting how elections are conducted, or, the myths about fraud, get some data and put something out there that gives the facts. Don't focus on the disinformation, just give the correct information, like a public service. We're in education.
And what I'd like you to do is to friend each other on Facebook. I find it's very helpful to have lots of AAUW friends. And
Right.
check out everybody else's branches on Facebook and see how well they are doing. See if they're making progress with their 5-star communications requirements and with their
And-
websites. See how they're getting on, see if they're making progress too. Elaine and
And-
I do review your Facebooks and websites, don't we, Elaine?
Periodically.
Periodically, every few years. That's the truth.
And the other thing that one of the very first things that we did in Naperville is just getting everyone member-wise who is on Facebook to follow your page. And then when they see a post, share it with their friends. When we posted about our book drives, we had 28 shares. And that really is necessary to amplify what you post. And you'll have to repeat that several times. Becky knows when we first started, I think we had 12 followers, likes from our membership. It takes a while to repeat the message, like our Facebook page, and when you see something, share it.
Yes, because doing that type of sharing is actually, I think, much more effective than asking Facebook to do paid advertisements.
Right.
which
Every member has
is
a
not
circle of
successful.
friends, and it's like a big network. Keep bigger, bigger, and bigger.
Kate, could you explain just a little bit about the communications group? How does that work? You join it and then you send out an email to the communications group, and this is how you communicate with them?
Well, AUW in Illinois has several Google groups. These are email groups, and some of you may already belong to Google groups. You may already belong to an AUW Illinois Google group. There's one called AUW Illinois Leaders, one AUW Illinois Public Policy. So we've started one for AUW Illinois Communications. We started it after the spring convention at Springfield. And any member of the group can send an email to the group, the whole list, without needing to know the emails of all the people in the group. And that way you can have a conversation with the people in the group.
Thank you.
So, for example, if you had a question to put to the people in the group about, say, your Facebook or your website, you could send an email to AUWIL communications@googlegroups.com. I think that's the email address. And maybe somebody could send you an answer through that group. But you'd have to be added to the group first. And there's probably some people in this audience today who are in the group already. If you want to be added to the group, send an email to auwjaneadams@gmail.com and I'll add you to the group. I believe you're already in it, Cynthia.